Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, folks. Hey, welcome to another episode of the Marketing in Practice podcast, the podcast where I get to simplify the marketing and the mindset so you, the chiropractor, can increase your income, your impact, and your enjoyment in practice too. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about the downside of free or the downside of discounts as well. Now, this all started for me on Saturday night. My beautiful wife was sitting on the couch and she was thumbing her way through her phone, reading some emails and catching up with them. And she said to me, I'm sick and tired of all of these messages I get for people offering me marketing. And my ears pricked up. And I said, tell me more, babe. And so she read out one particular email and it was of great interest to me. This particular person said, hey, listen, I'm paraphrasing a little bit here. The email was kind of written a little bit more nicely than this, but this was the points they went over. I've recently had my life change with chiropractic care. I had a scoliosis. I saw a chiropractor and things have never been better. And I want to change the world. I want more people getting access to chiropractic and I'd like to help you reach more people. And I'll help you for a month for free. I'll get to learn more about how to do this. And as a side effect, you'll get more people coming into you. How about it? And Lauren said to me, I would never, ever say yes to somebody like this. I'm like, tell me more. Why not? She says, it's sleazy and there's nothing like just why. It's yuck. And it got me thinking about now in this situation, this person couldn't even give away their services for free. Now, many of us think that the biggest barriers for people coming in to see us is just finances. So that's ultimately what drives a discounted offer. That's ultimately what drives a free offer as well. And you're right, because in certain circumstances, it can work. But there are a number of downsides to offering free or offering a discount. So maybe you don't offer free at your practice, and not many chiropractors are offering free, but you'll get to see, if you're offering discount, you'll get to see some of the downsides or the challenges that come along with this. We'll then spend some time in this episode talking about what are some of the other barriers, because finances, without a doubt, is one of the barriers that stop people from coming in. We'll then review a value equation. We'll talk about some things that maybe you could do instead in your marketing. So let's dive in. What are some of the downsides of offering a discount or offering free? The first is the perceived value that comes along with a free or a discounted consultation. Okay, so when we offer a free or a discounted consultation, it unintentionally lowers the perceived value of the services. So potential patients are going to question the quality of your care. They'll wonder if these services, are they actually worth it? Why are they giving them away for free? Why are they giving them away at a discount? And this brings out a level of skepticism that can absolutely negatively impact the reputation of your practice from some people and will stop them from becoming clients. Okay, so there is something in our mind, and I think this is becoming more finely attuned. I know it certainly has become more finely attuned with me as every year that goes forwards, that whenever I see a discount, I'm like, what's the catch? Like, why are they offering this at a discount and why are they offering it for free? There's no doubt that the second challenge or the second downside that comes along with offering discounts or free is it does tend to attract the wrong type of patients. Now, again, this is a judgment factor that I'm putting in here when it comes to the wrong type of patients. So when we offer these discount, it tends to unintentionally have people who are after a quick fix. These people are often more difficult to look after. They have super high expectations about what you can achieve in one or two visits. Many of them aren't often willing to put in the time or effort or energy to get the results that are necessary. So this often results in a higher rate of patient attrition, lower overall patient satisfaction, because people are not as invested, okay? So there's a saying that when people pay, they pay attention. Now, you might have seen, if you've ever run any type of Facebook ads beforehand, that there's a lot of people often at the top of the funnel that are interested, but as we start to work our way through that funnel and get through them, there's a low proportion of people who are actually genuinely interested in receiving chiropractic care. Now, by its very nature, the work that we do as chiropractors is not often a one and done. So certainly for those of you out there that have a vitalistic wellness approach, what we're wanting is for patients to be under lifetime care, to benefit from the ongoing nature of chiropractic care, not just the initial benefits that can come. And discounted fees or free to begin with to start the relationship often sets things off on the wrong foot. What it does, and I think this is one of the big ones that we often don't think about too, the third challenge that comes along with discounted or free is it undermines your expertise and skill. So offering a discounted initial consultation inadvertently communicates that your time and your expertise is not as valuable as they should be. This perception can lead to prospective patients undervaluing your services, making it more difficult for you to command fees that reflect your true value as a chiropractor. So if you have a discount to get them in the door and then a couple of days later you're trying to sell them into 6 months, 12 months of care, $1,000 package, or even if they're paying as they're going, but all of a sudden your adjustments are $60 or $70, $80 and they know that it's going to take them months to get well, there is a mismatch that happens through there too, okay? There are financial implications that happen for your practice too, okay? So fourth reason or challenge that comes along with it, when you provide free or discounted initial consultations, you're losing revenue to begin with. Now, this can make sense at the front end. Now, I'm definitely not saying that discount shouldn't be there. There are many people in different circumstances that I absolutely recommend to do this. And there are elements of it that I do with my business, and there are elements of it that we very occasionally do with our practice, but very occasionally do now because we're a well-established practice. Again, we can set our standards a little bit higher there too, but when we offer discount, it takes time and energy to service these patients. You need to have staff at the front desk, and if they're spending time servicing these patients here, they're not doing other things in your practice as well. So we need to think about, are there alternative strategies other than offering discounted and free? And we'll touch on those a little bit in a moment there too. But before we get into that, I want to talk about perhaps some of the other barriers, because as I mentioned beforehand, the logic behind offering free and discount comes from the fact that the barrier that's preventing people from coming in is purely finances. And it can be, it often is, but this is only one of the barriers. In fact, and I don't think it's even one of the largest of the barriers that prevents people from coming in. So let's look and talk through some of the barriers before we get into some potential solutions, okay? The first is a lack of awareness or understanding. Many people, most people I would suggest, are unaware of the benefits of chiropractic care. There are a whole bunch of misconceptions they have about chiropractic care as well. And so what we need to be spending our time is educating our target audience about the value and the effectiveness of your care, okay? So if people see you as a solution for just a headache, and not that, if you've had headaches, then it's a great solution, but once they start to understand the whole range of benefits that you can give them, then all of a sudden your value goes up. I remember, I think it was Reggie Gold, one of his analogies is that, in fact, before I get onto that, this is a really fantastic one that comes from Heidi Havik. She said most people are using chiropractic as a bit like using your iPhone just as a calculator. There are a whole bunch of benefits to our iPhone other than just the calculator, although I use the calculator a lot. I remember Reggie Gold saying it's a bit like having a television and only watching one station on it. So this means that we need to remove the lack of awareness and that we need to have people understand the benefits. And this is part of what our social media, our website, our education, this is part of what our branding really should be doing, okay? So that's one thing that holds people back. Another barrier that holds people back from coming to see you is fear and anxiety, okay? So some patients are apprehensive about chiropractic care because they think that it's dangerous to have their spine adjusted. We see a real growth in recent of these kind of cracking and crunching videos, and some patients love the idea of that, and it's certainly brought a lot of people to chiropractic, but it's also pushed a lot of people away. There are several people that are worried about the discomfort, the pain, and the unknown. And so a big part of what we should be doing across our social media, across the content that we're sharing, is addressing these concerns, providing information, providing examples, testimonials when it's appropriate. What are the things that we can do to remove that fear and anxiety, okay? Another huge barrier why people aren't coming to see you is because of time constraints. They're like, I've just got too much on. And particularly with regards to ongoing care, whether that be ongoing multiple times a week or ongoing sort of for wellness or performance-based care as well. Busy schedules are a significant barrier for potential patients. This is one of the reasons why we'd want to communicate things like flexible appointment times, evenings, weekends. What can you do to make it easier for patients to come and see you? Now, there are some people like myself that really love the idea of a fast appointment. Now, provided I want the results first of all, but if you can adjust me with the same results in 30 seconds as you can in 1 minute, then I'll pay more for the 30 seconds. Now, I'm not there are certainly people that like to pay for time. There are many people that, a 90-minute massage is better than a 60-minute massage. I'm one of those people of let's just get the job done. And I'm not alone with regards to that too. And so, again, we need to make sure in the content that we're sharing that we're addressing the time investment that needs to happen there too. Another is location and accessibility. So you should be communicating, the convenience, the accessibility of your location. You need to make sure that your practice is easy to find. Does it have good parking? Has access from public transport? Does it have access for people who might have mobility issues as well? So wheelchair, those sort of things there too. And so we need to be addressing this in the content that we're sharing and across our website. Another huge one that I want to sort of really finish with here too is the barrier that's holding a lot of people back from coming to see chiropractors is trust and credibility, okay? And so this is what was really missing in this email that came to Lauren, is there was no trust and credibility in this person. In fact, by offering his services for free, he actually removed a lot of trust and credibility. So patients, what we want to do is that we want to feel confident in our healthcare provider skills and expertise. So particularly with our health, there are a lot of things where discount makes sense, particularly when it's items of convenience, petrol, gas for our car, maybe milk and bread for some people there too. But when it comes to healthcare offers, often what we're after is expertise and skill set. First of all, that's what builds trust and credibility. So we can do this by showcasing our qualifications, highlighting patient success stories, creating content that is professional, that solves problems, that's generous. These are the sort of things here that help to build trust and credibility. This is a big part of what I talk to on a daily basis with community influence members as well. And of course, the last one, actually, there was one more here too, is perceived relevance. What is the relevance? If it's free, but it doesn't seem like it's relevant for me, then free is not going to be enough for me to pay to go and get it there too. So some potential patients might not see chiropractic care as relevant to their health concerns. This is particularly the case if you have a pediatric focused practice, because the background conversation that happens for many people in the community is that chiropractic is something that we do for backs. It's back crunching and cracking. And certainly the thought and the idea of that having been done to my child, let alone my baby, is not something that we really want to think about, okay? So you need to be constantly across on online platforms and whatever sort of avenues you can, demonstrating on how chiropractic care is relevant to a wide range of health issues, whether that be pediatric, if that's what you're into, performance, sports, you name it there too. So creating relevance as well. So all of these things, in essence, if we're only hitting in our content, if we're only hitting the financial barriers that's coming, and then we're missing many of these others. And depending on the person, there are several other barriers that are preventing them coming in to see you. So again, instead of offering a discount, what we could be doing and should be doing is educating our community about all of these other things. We can be doing things because there are several things, because there's no doubt that a discount can work. But the other way that we can encourage people to take action is by adding value to our offer. So rather than discounting your price, other things that you can add to it. Could you offer a pillow? Could you offer a posture pole? Could you offer these things that you can add for free, but keep your services the same? So these are things that you can add in there too. But basically, what I want you thinking about is the content that you're sharing with your community, the conversations that you're having with them on a wider, through your website and through the social media platforms, and the conversations that you're having with your patients. Are you addressing all these other perceived resistances that might stop them from referring in their friends and might stop them from coming back in to see you? Now, a number of episodes ago, I had shared some conversations in around value, what value is. So value doesn't come from price alone. Certainly the price of something is one of the things that drives the value of it, but I want to share an equation with you. Okay, I'll do my best to describe this for you, for those of you that are just listening to this. And perhaps for those of you that are watching, I might get Jason to actually pop this little image up. Now, first of all, I've got to give credence, this came from Alex Hormozi and his book, $1 Million Offers. Alex has become a bit of an internet sensation. But he has an equation of what value is. And he says value is dream outcome multiplied by the perceived likelihood of achievement divided by time delay and effort and sacrifice. Okay, so let me go through those. The value of your care goes up when you are communicating the dream outcome to somebody. So this is why we're having a discussion with our patients. When someone comes to see us with a back problem or any health challenge, it's not just the health challenge that they want solved, it's what that health challenge is preventing them from doing. Now, this doesn't matter whether it's, parents with a colicky baby, because the lack of sleep baby is interrupting the whole family dynamic. This means it's impacting the parents' rest of their life. They might feel like they're not great parents. And if we can address the issue that is, hey, not only are we going to help your baby get back sleeping again, we're going to do it naturally. We'll get you back as a family getting a good night's sleep. This will help you feel more connected. This will help you feel more satisfied as parents. It's those alternate drives there that are just as valuable to them, if not more so, than having the colic go away. One of the things that increases the perceived value of something is the perceived likelihood of achievement. Now think about it for a moment. Now, if I had a technique that I did that I could guarantee you that it was 100% successful on everybody that came to see me with people with migraines. And I was able to show you a whole bunch of testimonials and case studies so that you saw that. But my adjustments there were $200 an adjustment. And then there might be another chiropractor down the road who was offering chiropractic care, and they weren't able to embody that same level of perceived likelihood of achievement, but their adjustments were $50. For many people, because of the confidence in my competence, they'd be more than happy. I'm a lot more valuable because the perceived likelihood of achievement in my practice is much higher than the chiropractor down the road. Now, the way that we do this, there are several ways that we increase the likelihood of doing this, but the most simple is case studies and testimonials. When somebody, I was reviewing a website recently and sharing it with some community influencer members when we were talking about a gym, and this is a female boxing gym, and on the homepage of her website, she has a big heading there that says 100 plus 5-star Google reviews can't be wrong. And then underneath it was just all these Google reviews. So the idea of perceived likelihood of success, of enjoyment in there was very, very high. Okay. So we want to, in the content that we're sharing and the communications that we have across our website, we want to be constantly talking about the dream outcome, okay? Not just the resolution of somebody's symptoms, but the changes in their life that will happen when they come and see you. We constantly want to be doing things to increase and show somebody that the likelihood of them getting results in our practice is very, very high, okay? So again, another example that Alex actually shares in his book is weight loss. Okay, so we pay thousands of dollars, sometimes tens of thousands of dollars for liposuction because we know that when we come out of that surgery the next day, we're going to be 10, 15 or 20 pounds lighter. But when we join a gym, which we can for $10 or $15 a week, okay, we're not guaranteed the results. In fact, we have lots of evidence that going to the gym often doesn't work. So that's one of the reasons why we pay a lot more for liposuction than we do for going to the gym. Now, there are a couple of factors that we want to minimize when it comes to increasing the value of your care. And one of them is we want to minimize the effort and sacrifice. Okay. Now, this is where minimizing effort and sacrifice, this is minimizing the amount that it costs because that's an effort and sacrifice. But it's not just that. It's what can you do to make the journey easier, more seamless, and more convenient. Okay, so I touched on base for all of that before. Opening hours, lots of parking, friendly staff, an enjoyable environment, all these things decrease the effort and sacrifice. I'm sure you, like me, have many of your patients where they talk about that the highlight of their week is coming into your practice because it's just such a beautiful environment. We can talk about those things. Again, the other factor that we want to decrease is time delay, okay? So we want to decrease time delay for somebody to get results, and we want to decrease effort and sacrifice. Both of those increase the value of your care. Now, time delay is an interesting one because decreasing time, the amount of time, so first of all, get really good at what you're doing and make sure you're minimizing the time it takes for your patients to get a result. And so this means be technically competent. Always be looking to be getting better. But there does come a point where, healing takes time. It's one of the 33 principles of chiropractic is all healing takes time. And many times, this is months, not days, and occasionally it's weeks, but often it's months and sometimes it's years for people to get these results. But there are things that we can do along the way to minimize that, okay? So how can you, if we can't actually make the process faster, then what we need to do is we need to get really good at showing progress, okay? That's something that's really important. So your posture was here, it's now here, and this is where we've got to go to. Your range of motion was this, here's where we've got to go to, here's where we are along the journey, okay? Your self-reported wellness scale was here, here's where we want it to get to, scan. So any of these objective tests that we can do to show somebody where they are in the journey will help to decrease the perception of time. Okay, so these are all things that we think about. So let's sum a lot of this up. Okay, let's bring it all back together. What does this mean to you in terms of wanting to reach more people, to increase your impact, your income, and your enjoyment in practice? Okay, be wary of offering free and discounts, because understand when we do that, there are a number of challenges that come along with it, okay? It literally undermines a lot of the things that we're wanting to build inside our practice there as well. So perception of free also or discount means that people perceive the value of your care the same. It can tend to attract the wrong type of patients. It definitely undermines your expertise and skills. It does have financial implications for your practice. And so these are all things to think about, okay, as well. Now, remember, if we're doing that often finances is only one of the reasons why people one of the barriers. There are other things too, lack of awareness and understanding. There's fear and anxiety they have in around chiropractic. There are time constraints they have, location and accessibility, trust and credibility, and then relevance. These are all things to think about. Building a foundation where you are communicating these, because as each of those elements I talked about through that, the more that you communicate in those, the more value that you are communicating. Now, two of these approaches, thinking about them, is often, whilst offering a discount can actually help us in the short term attract patients in, it will build a brand for your practice where you can be positioned as the discount chiropractor, okay? And that can be a difficult brand to get yourself out of down the track. Some patience in the early days when you're doing this too, and building brand value by communicating all those things beforehand, whilst slower to start with. The back end of that can be enormous, where you have lots of people really valuing your care and you don't need to be as needy. All right, folks, that's some thoughts there in around the downsides of free and discounted. Until next time, I'll be back here next week. Make sure you keep all of this stuff in mind. Your community needs you being really, really great at this stuff. Thanks for listening, folks. Thanks for all that you do. Keep saving lives. See you back here again real soon. Bye. If you've enjoyed listening to this podcast, you have to come and check out my Community Influencer Program. It's my monthly coaching program where we take all this material and I'll work with you to help you apply it, implement it, and systemize it. The Community Influencer Group Coaching Program is designed to help you increase your practice income, impact, and enjoyment. Join me over at anguspyke.com/join. That's anguspyke.com/join. I'd love to see you there.